Hello guys, this is John Sullivan, and I'm going to show you an After Effects tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make the Harry Potter spell effects. In this case, it's the blocking effect, in which whenever they swing their wand, it blocks the spell. And it usually depends on the spell. Like this green one would be Avada Kedavra, so it would block it and such. So basically, this is the effect that they use in the movie, and it's really quick. It's only like 3 or 4 frames long, and well, this is kind of what it looks like. See that? It's pretty cool. I'm also going to include a project file too with these spells, and I have the red ones, you know, red or blue or anyone you want. Also, I'm going to show you how to do this effect as well. That's pretty cool, actually. This is a shockwave effect that I came up with, and it's also it's almost like the same effect. It's just reversed right there, and it only goes halfway right there. So let's just get started. We're going to create a new composition, and it's going to be 1280 by 720, 10 seconds, and we're going to name this Wand FX. Okay. What we need to get started is we need a black solid. So right click, and you can either choose it, or you can go to Layer, New Solid. And we're going to make this one black, and we're going to name it Energy. Now, we could actually use the pen tool to create a basic, like circle, but it's going to look like crap because obviously computers don't allow that. So, what we actually can do to make a perfect circle is right next to is the shapes of the masks. So, we're going to hold in the mouse button and go down to the ellipse tool and just drag out a shape like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to choose Effect, Noise and Grain, Fractal Noise. And we're going to choose the fractal type as Dynamic Twist. Move it up. Just kind of move it down there just a bit. Okay. And we're going to go to the transform and bring down the scale just a bit. You can position this wherever you really want, just randomize it. Whichever one looks good for you. You could invert it as well. Now, one of the other basic effects we're going to be creating is the ripply smoke. So, we're going to do this by choosing Effect, Distort, Turbulent Displace. And we're just going to bump up the turbulence and bring it down a lot. And we're going to hit F and just feather it out like so. There we go. Just randomizing it. It's all on your perspective. So just kind of do what you want with it, and it's all good. Another effect I actually made was a really nice one, actually. It made it like an energy-ish, vein-ish type of effect. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Effect, Blur and Sharpen, CC Vector Blur. And I would move this below the fractal noise. And we're just going to drag that out. Just like that. And you see that, how it changed? Also, to get more highlights within the white areas, we're going to choose Effect, Color Correction, and Levels. And we're just going to use the bottom options right here. And we're going to choose the input white. And bring that up just so we get more life out of that area, and it works just well. So what we can do is we can scale this up if we need to, and it's perfectly fine. And we're going to create the transition in which it starts from inside and it moves out. So we're going to click on this and we're going to duplicate it, and we're going to scale it down, and we're going to choose mask, hit M, and make it subtract. Okay, never mind, I think I did it wrong. Alright, we're just going to go into this mask and choose an ellipse and make another mask. And we're going to make that subtract. Okay. And we're just going to feather that a little bit too. Just a little bit. So, what we want to do is we don't want it to already be opened up like that transition. So we're going to go into the mask options for mask 2. And we're going to put the expansion back in. And we're going to move up to at least 1 second. Just give it some time. And we're going to choose the stopwatch and hit page up and page down your keyboard. Go to 3 or 4 frames and bring it in. Now stop halfway and just choose like 3 or 4 more frames. Click the stopwatch and then continue on with the rest. So what we can do is basically it's just giving us some time to kind of fade off. I can maybe extend that out a bit. It gives it more like as if it stays just a little bit longer. So we can right click on the keyframe and go to keyframe assistance and choose easy ease. Now what we get is we get this basic transition of the spell. And that's pretty much the basic effect, but we can add more to it because it just looks static right now. So we can choose the turbulent displace and click the stopwatch at the beginning of the evolution, or the timeline, sorry. And we'll click the stopwatch for evolution, go to the end of the timeline, and make it 6 evolutions. So now it kind of gives it more life as it's going off. It kind of works. And there's your basic transition effect. You can add color correction to it by, choosing a black solid, putting it below, choosing a new adjustment layer, and going to effect, color correction, color balance, preserving the luminosity, and just changing the colors on it, just making it look really cool. Just looks like a cool effect. I like that. And you can add flashes by taking a solid, blue solid, making the ellipse tool right there, feathering the crap out of it, and adding an additive transition on the transfer modes. Of course, when you do the transfer mode for this effect, you drop it onto your actual footage, and you choose screen or add, whichever works for you. And your flash effect with the blue solid would be 3 frames long, and it would go on as it's about to do that transition. So it would start right there, and 3 or 4 frames it would end already. So it's really, quick flash. You can use Action Essentials too. Add some smoke particles, possibly some sparks. even lens flare if you have optical flares. So this is the basic effect, and it's pretty easy to do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create the shockwave effect. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new composition, name this shockwave effects, and we're going to do the same exact thing. So we're going to go solid and name it energy, and we're going to go ellipse, noise and grain, fractal noise, and we're just going to do the same exact stuff we did the last time and just make it look good. It's all your perspective, at least. Just trying to run right through this so I can kind of get to what I was trying to do. Distort, turbulent displace, a lot of displace, and maybe this one can be different. You can choose twist, possibly, and then we'll go to levels, and we'll just up the whites a lot. Okay. Now we're just going to hit scale, bring it up, feather it, the same old jazz that we did the last time. And creating the inner mask as well. And just the simple transition. Hit MM on your keyboard to do the mask expansion, by the way. Forgot to mention that earlier. We're just going to bring this in. And we're going to go bam, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam. And keyframe assistant, easy ease. The thing what we want to do with this is we already wanted to start halfway. So we're going to zoom in here so we can get the keyframes. And we're going to go just start it already there. And it's going to be a lot bigger. Just bring that in maybe. Okay. Alright. Now what we want to do is we want to hit Control D or possibly edit duplicate. We're going to duplicate the layer, but this time we're starting from the beginning, and we're going to choose scale. We're going to bring it down a lot. What we're going to do is we're going to go into the mask, and we're going to take the keyframes and we're going to flip them. See that? It's reversed. We're going to make sure it starts before it. We want to make sure it does start before it. At least. Make it smaller. Just it's right in there. And what we want to do is, right when it gets to the end, we hit T. It's going to fade off. So we're going to hit T. Stopwatch for the opacity. Go 3 or 4 frames. And fade it off. Possibly do a keyframe assistance and easy ease it. And it's going to go bam. Bam. So, see what that looks like so far. Now, one thing I did was I forgot to do the turbulent displace evolution, so we're just going to have to go to the beginning of that timeline and going all the way out. Just doing like 6 evolutions. Do it for this one as well. Go to the beginning of it. 6 evolutions. Also, another thing we can do is go to the beginning of the layer as well and go to fractal noise, and we'll go to evolution, and we'll just take it out, and we'll put in 6 evolutions. Do the same thing for this one, and go out 6 evolutions. Just see what that looks like. It's at half res right now because I'm doing this on a Windows, and the rendering sucks. So hopefully you can get the idea of what I'm trying to create right here. So it's possible you can even slow it down a bit. This is the basic shockwave effect. It's really quick. If you're doing like just stopping the wand, and it does like a shockwavy effect. You can also add distortion as well by adding an adjustment layer, ellipsing, doing an ellipse tool, doing turbulent displace, and possibly bringing in all the amount, all like the size, all the way down, so it's really small, and doing a displacement map and bringing it in, and just animating the evolution, and it'll add more of an effect even when it fades off halfway too. Keep the distortion there for like 3 or 4 frames, and it'll literally, you could fade off that distortion, and it'll look like it was that energy that was right there, and make it look more real. Of course, adding the flash and the smoke and such. So hopefully you did learn a lot from this tutorial. I did rush a few things. I do apologize on that. I am going to do another Harry Potter tutorial to show you how to do the actual wand shooting of the spells. And I will be doing that within the next few days. So hopefully you learned a lot, and stay tuned.